Thanks for the time, front. I got 6 o'clock. You want to come to order? Everybody come to order? Let's do so. Let's come to order. Brother Bradley, would you care to lead us out in a word of prayer, please?
Let's pray. Dear God, we just thank you for the day. Thank you for every blessing that's ours. God, just guide us as we make decisions that are important for our city. Thank you for all of our employees. Just watch over and protect them. Again, just guide us tonight. Let us look to you for everything that we do, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Barber, would you call the roll, please?
Baker.
Present.
Bradley.
Here.
Edens.
Here.
King.
Here.
Reisinger.
Here.
Thompson. Here.
Would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say the same. Entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say the same. Under new business 6A, recommendations from the Personnel Committee. Who's the Personnel Chairman? I think the minutes are in there.
We had a personnel meeting. We had a personnel meeting on the 11th day of May. And we decided to bring before the city council the recommendation to hire Roger Brooks as the interim or the electric manager, general manager. And there was one other thing, wasn't there?
The truck. I think it was
Yeah.
the 31st.
Yeah,
Actually.
the truck. Was it the truck?
Was that meeting
It was May 11th
May
at
11th?
4:30.
Okay. I was just looking at the heading on this. It's May 31st.
Yeah, that's the truck one. This is the one we're
I think it was our recommendation that we hired Roger Brooks as general manager for some of, I know it's here somewhere,
It's on the
first page. Yeah. It'd be $70.20 an hour, be the new pay rate. He's making $52.65 an hour right now. And I think he's done a wonderful job. And but it's up to the city council. We just make recommendations.
May I speak to this?
Sure, absolutely.
I just, want to make sure that I express my questions that I had at the Budget and Personnel Committee meeting publicly. I had a question about whether this position had been advertised. Has it been advertised?
No, they're promoting from within.
Okay. My other question was, do we have a policy or any kind of procedure at CCU that goes against promoting from within like this to the general manager?
Miss Debbie, could you step up here, please? Help us out with some HR questions. Sorry.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
I do.
Be sure you state your name or Patrick will get you.
Debbie Pintado, and I'm finance and HR. And I don't want to be standing here. In our policy handbook, it does state the general manager can make the decisions to promote within. But since we're talking about the general manager, then that would give the council the right to do that. as long as it's in an internal posting, somebody that we are promoting within.
Okay, that answers that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
If y'all wasn't there, there was a lot of CCU members there, and they expressed their pleasures with the job that Roger is doing at this time. So that when you have your employees saying good things about you, it's good.
That's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
So I'm kind of like I'm just gonna piggyback off of Ed a little bit. I went around to these guys and I heard good things about it. I mean, I've seen some good things change. And if it's time to make the motion, I'm ready to make the motion that we do that.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion to recommend hiring Roger Brooks as the full-time general manager with option 2 for this packet, which adds an extra $1,500 to his payroll. Is that the motion?
Yes.
I think you would take recommend out, right? You're either doing it or you're not.
I'm doing it. Yes, right.
So if you'll do me a favor, look at your minutes from your last meeting.
Yeah.
And on page 2, you've got the recommendation from the personnel committee. Just take that recommendation, revamp it, and make your motion along those lines. It's on last paragraph, last sentence right above real property committee. I think Rob's the one that actually made the recommendation from the meeting.
Yeah.
Make
Go
a
ahead.
motion to hire Roger Brooks as the full-time general manager with option 2, which adds an extra $1,500. He is being paid for his salary.
And that would be his monthly salary. That's not his overall.
No, that's an additional.
Roger, I'm making sure.
That's an additional $1,500
Okay.
to your existing salary, correct, Roger? Okay. So we have that
Let's get the
motion.
wording right.
Do we have a?
I'll second.
Okay, all right, we have a second. Ms. Barbara?
Baker,
You call my name?
vote aye or nay.
You have to vote yes or no.
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you, council.
That's right.
6B, Miss Barbara, would you read, or do you have it recorded?
An ordinance revising rates to be charged by Clarksville Connected Utilities for electric service declaring an emergency and for other purposes. Whereas the city of Clarksville, Arkansas City is the owner and regulator of a municipal utility providing electric, water, wastewater, and broadband services. And whereas pursuant to section 2.60.03 of the Clarksville Municipal Code, the city council has retained authority to establish the maximum retail rate that may be charged for electric service and directed the utility to submit a proposed rate change when a factual basis for a rate change exists. And whereas on June 12, 2023, Clarksville Connected Utilities reviewed analysis of utility costs and rates performed by experts and determined that a factual basis exists warranting a revision of rate structures, more specifically that rate structures that incorporate decreasing per unit cost as consumption increases are antiquated, encourage inefficiency, and fail to reflect actual utility cost. Rate structures that differ by season no longer reflect actual utility costs incurred. Nominal base customer charges fail to recoup fixed cost. Complex rate calculations are cumbersome and unnecessary. Whereas Clarksville Connected Utilities has proposed alternative options for revised electric rate structures to the City Council for consideration as shown on the exhibits attached hereto and described below. Existing rates, Exhibit A, current residential rates, R1. Exhibit B, current small commercial rates, C1. Exhibit C, current large commercial industrial rate, P. Exhibit D, current fuel adjustment. Proposed rate schedules, Exhibit A1, proposed residential rates, R1, Option 1. Exhibit B1, proposed small commercial rates, C1, Option 1. Exhibit C1, proposed large commercial industrial rate, P, Option 1. Exhibit D1, proposed fuel adjustment, option 1. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Clarksville, Arkansas, that Section 1, the Clarksville City Council hereby determines that the following proposed electric rate schedules are just and reasonable, and hereby directs Clarksville Connected Utilities to charge and collect such rates from customers for services provided as soon as administratively practical, but no later than July 1, 2023. Option 1, the residential schedule shown on Exhibit A1. B, the small commercial rate schedules shown on Exhibit B1. C, the large commercial industrial rate schedule shown on Exhibit C1. D, the fuel adjustment calculation shown on Exhibit D1. Section 2, until such time that the rate schedules and fuel adjustment calculations described in Section 1 are implemented, Clarksville Connected Utilities shall continue to charge and collect rates according to rate schedules that were effective immediately prior to the adoption of this ordinance. Section 3, upon implementation of the rate schedules and fuel adjustment calculation described in Section 1, all previously approved versions of electric rate schedules, residential R1, small commercial C, and large commercial industrial P, shall be repealed and superseded by the rate schedule shown in Section 1. Additionally, all previously approved versions of the fuel adjustment calculation shall be repealed and superseded by the fuel adjustment calculation shown in Section 1. Section 4, the provisions of this ordinance are declared to be severable, and if any part of this ordinance is declared to be unlawful or unenforceable, the remainder of this ordinance shall continue to be effective. Section 5, all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed to the extent of the conflict.
So, council, in your package, if you look, you're gonna, and this messed me up. The first that you're gonna see says Exhibit AX. What you do is you go back, take that AX and go to, flip back about 5 or 6 pages, and you'll see A1. So AX is your existing, what is actually in place today, and then the A1 is the new proposed. And so, as we go through this, I want to introduce you to Mr. Scott Shreve. He's right here in the back of the room. He's sitting beside Mr. Bill Hill, Jeanette Small. He's here. Roger. Is Marla here? Did she come by chance? So when I say it's been a collaborative group to get here, it's been very well, very thanks to Scott and his leadership, Bill and his microscope that he puts on things is just amazing. So Scott, if you want to kind of address the council about how this rate structure got to where it's at and how its impact is going to be and what people can expect to see.
That's right.
Good evening. I'm Scott Shreve. I'm with Priority Power. I know a few of you here. Really, the design of it, we took the old rates, and I don't know. You have those 3 pages here, the colorful ones. There, yeah, those colorful ones. I guess. I think there's kind of the old rate. Yeah, the old rates there. The declining blocks, and I won't go into a lot of great detail, but just to kind of give you a flavor for it. So the residential was $7.50, but then what we talked about, the declining blocks, it went to 3, so it had 6 cents, then it went to 4.4 cents, and then all additional after 265 kilowatt hours, and so on and so forth for the commercial and the industrial customers. Everything was fine with the old rate, but what happened moving forward is that you went to the October 21 rate design, and the next page there. Sorry, David.
This is the 21.
21, yeah, the 21 rate. So you guys decided to go $15 customer service charge instead of 7.5. And again, instead of the declining blocks, you just went to one rate for all kilowatt hours at 7.8. The old rate had a ECA, or energy cost adjustment, at 2.9 cents, just under 3 cents. And so the reason you wanted to change that is because your cost of power was 6 or 7 cents and your fuel adjustment was 3 or 4 or 5 cents a kilowatt hour. So you saw a big fuel adjustment. So what you did is you raised the rates and lowered, if you will, the fuel adjustment, if you will. You raised the fuel adjustment cost, if you will. So in this 21 rate, all those things stayed the same, but the fuel adjustment, the previous one, the old rate, showed you I think 4.2 cents was the, in red there, the fuel adjustment charge was 4.4 cents. The October 21 was 1.7 cents. So you accomplished the task of lowering your fuel adjustment, right? From the 4 cents to less than 2 cents. The problem was the industrial customers, again, if you go to those, compare these different sheets, the old rate, they were 167 million kilowatt hours right in the middle there, kind of the big number there in the middle, 167 million. But when we got to the rates, they were only 139. So there was 27 million kilowatt hours less that you were selling as a community. And that was the industrial class. You lost a big customer, a lot of load there. The residential and the commercial basically stayed the same. So that's where the deficit was. So we then, with Bill and Jack and the mayor and Roger, and we kind of sat down and tried to figure out what the new rates would look like. And we really, came back to, Bill was a big proponent of trying to get the residential back lower to the 6.1 cents instead of the 7.8. But again, the fuel adjustment, you moved it up to 5.5 cents, and I'm proposing to move it to 4.75 cents. So about 3/4 of a penny lower. So with all that said, the residential customers should see about a 13% reduction from 21, and the industrial customers should see about a 10% increase. With that said, we kind of had the perfect storm last year in 2022 with natural gas prices about $7 or $8. So electricity was 10, 12, 15 cents a kilowatt hour in the summer, where you were starting to see your bill the city's bill was 7 or 8 cents. And so you're again seeing 3 or 4 or 5 cent fuel adjustments. So with all that said, we're starting to see costs come down. Natural gas prices are below $2. Again, the city gets a lot of hydro. We're seeing a lot of rain, and we're receiving that. So from 2023 from 2022, we've seen about $600,000 less in our cost in the first 5 months of 2023 versus 2022. So we're seeing costs come down. So that fuel adjustment will come down. And with this mechanism that we have set up, we believe you'll make enough revenue to be back or be in the red, be black again, if you will. So that's a very quick overview of that. But for the most part, it's very confusing. There's a lot of moving parts in this, but we want to start controlling our costs, and we're moving in that direction to try to get more control in what our power supply is, and that way we can then pass on those lower costs to your end consumers.
I just want to call out right there what he just said. Controlling costs of our power. So we typically, Scott, when you go buy power, do you have an option of what you get to pay for that power? And you give us a price.
Right.
But if we had more leverage in hydrogen, more leverage in solar, other alternative means of getting that power, competition does two things. It drives price down, quality up. By these new emerging markets and being able to leverage those to our benefit, it's going to drive that cost down more and more. So the more I've learned about this, I've learned more than I ever thought I would want to know. I know that's true. That's to be a fact. The more power we have available to us that we can buy at a cheaper, more stable rate, the lower everything costs.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Without getting too far in the weeds, how do you guys build a formula when you work on these calculations to think about? I'm sure you look back kind of like the market, the stock market, you look back at what the trends are over a certain amount of time so that you make sure that whatever rate you recommend would also account for the lean time, the bad times.
It's a great question. I mean, really, you saw the highest. I won't say the highest, because they can get higher. Nobody will quote me there, but it can get higher. But we saw in 2022, everyone, I mean, not just here in Clarksville, my utility bill, everybody's utility bill just went sky high. We saw double and triple bills in what we saw. It didn't matter what the rate was, just the cost of power went from 33 or 4 cents per kilowatt hour to 8 or 9 cents a kilowatt hour. So that fuel adjustment, everybody saw that. So what I've done here is you spent about $15.5 million, $16 million in power supply in 22. I think you're going to be back in the range of probably 14 million, depending again what we do. And then we start being aggressive and take control of that supply. And then we know what our power supply will be going far. You know, we, instead of futures, like you're talking about, what's that market look like? I know I can buy, you know, this stock for this price, and it's a fixed price for 5 years. I know I can buy this product, and I'll layer these products in. I'll buy some wind, and this wind products.
Diversification of the portfolio.
Right, exactly. It's just like your, commodities, right? It's for your portfolio of your bank accounts, right? I want some long terms, I want some short terms, and I want some wind that's, what my load looks like at 2 o'clock in the morning versus 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we got to start taking control of it. Last summer, again, everybody was this. It's not the supplier's fault. It's just saying everybody got hammered with it. And it just like, you guys didn't have any hydro. And so instead of buying 9/10 of a cent or a penny per kilowatt hour, you're paying 6-7 cents. So you got this whammy, and you guys got whacked over the head with these 4 or 5 cent fuel adjustments.
Follow-up is, how do we know, if we go with this, that we're not like swinging the pendulum back too far and hurting our industry?
No, that's, again, you don't know, but we just can go by our historical history of how much consumption they have. And we have so many units that we're billing, right? And so we have to make it such that it's economical for everybody. And I believe what we've done here is we've made it such that if we lower our cost, we're going to drive that cost down for the industrial customer, because it's really through the energy rate is where they pay most of their cost. And when we get that power cost down, then they'll see a reduction in it as well.
And how are we handling this from a mayor, just in Stephen, maybe interaction with our industries relationship wise, just this communication? I mean, maybe this is kind of the first of it, but I just think that those questions will come to us
What do
too.
What do you ask?
Will this be a surprise? Yeah.
Right.
Well, part of it is, they're getting discounts that residential don't get, like, they get 5% right off the top. So you can back that out of any increase they're gonna see, so that doesn't make it as bad. So anything else to add to that?
So if we're gonna incentivize anything, it is what it is. If you're gonna lower residential, you have to compensate somewhere. I think, kind of leveling it out with industrials is what we've concluded. But
I'm gonna ask Mr. Hill, would you come up, let's have a conversation about industrial rates for a second. Obviously, we're gonna see some increase in industrial, right?
Right,
And
right.
that's her question, is
Yeah.
how are we addressing that with our,
Okay, to balance this, we're looking at about a 10 to 12% increase in industrial. And for those industrial customers, and these are your big guys, they typically, their transformers are set up on basically the line side. The meter is on the line side. They qualify for a 5% discount off of that 10 to 12% increase. So we're actually not talking about that much of an increase for the industrial. This new rate structure that we're talking about really rebalances what we ended up with last time. We ended up with a rate industrial that was actually lower than our cost for all of last year. And we can't do that. And the industrial is 2/3 of the power that we sell. So that was a big time loss for us. So we are rolling back the residential from that 37% increase, where we really hammered our residential customers. We're rolling that back about halfway. So about 15%. So,
Okay, let me call him Roger.
okay.
Roger, I know,
What this, the residential customers see is they see a spike every time they get up in the morning, like get your hair dryers on, stuff like that, the spike goes up. The commercial customers won't see it because they're on what they call a demand meter. They're just seeing what the transformer sees, is all they see.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna see that much of an increase.
and so when we did the calculations, Roger, this is for you, so don't get comfortable. You got Jeanette here, so. On the profit loss side of it, is it still, this rate schedule, still profitable for the utility while still beneficial to the city, the residents?
I'm gonna let Jeanette answer that, but from what Marla tells me it is, because I showed you the, program she put in, Jeanette may have.
I don't have it, I think she sent it to you, but she spent time putting in the calculations of.
Sorry.
It was showing about 100,000 a month increase from where we are now.
Yeah, you know, Bill,
So this new
I
rate.
don't doubt you one bit in the world,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna listen to the CFO right here.
Well, and Marla was the one that did it, but she took all of the bills, the actual customers, and plugged in the existing rate as compared to the new rate, because we just wanted to feel comfort level, because that's what was her job before she was the billing manager, and that's what she did before they proposed any new rates. So she just wanted to make sure how it affected every different level and chose some residential and all the different customers. And it was and I don't have it in front of me, but
Right, I know, sorry.
it was it's going to be profitable.
Scott, you remember in your estimations that showed the revenues, what, 3.2?
3.3. I think it's
3.3.
if you'll scroll up there and show the number 3.3.
3.32.
Yeah. Just for what it's worth, as Bill said, 2/3 of the power is going to the industrial customers. So 2/3 of the savings on the power costs, they'll see that. So my number of the 10% is using the quote unquote worst case scenario, right? The 15 million, 16.2 million there, the power cost. As that 16 million goes to 15 or 14 million, they're going to see 2/3 of that cost directly on their bill.
I really appreciate it. I understand what you're saying, and I just think it's really important for all of us to understand a little more about how it works,
Right.
instead of a mirage of numbers and promises and, you know.
There's a lot of errors touched in on this by everybody. There's a lot of errors.
So I've got this pulled up here, well, I got Bill up there and Scott, so let me pull this over. So I'm gonna ask my father-in-law, do you know what your monthly kilowatt usage is?
I'm sorry.
Are you all electric?
I am.
Let me see here. You're all electric? Let's just say, well, I don't know if this is the right.
I just, I just pick one, I guess bill is 200 and go on.
Yeah.
So if you'll look at the screen up there, we'll take an all-electric household, okay? We'll just say that, Miss Angie, you use 900 kilowatts a month. That sound right? So if you walk this out with your meter charge, okay, just walk it to the right, your declining block rate charge, fuel adjustment, your actual bill for electric, your price per kilowatt hour. So, and here's your price difference per month, 16.1%. Now, if you use the old rates, Bill, help me walk through this here.
Hit enter on that number hit enter right there. Okay, that's showing, What?
Your proposed new residential rate?
yeah,
Go from 87.64 a month to 77.32.
right. So the difference
The top to the bottom.
in red there is what, $10.33 a month, 13.4%
That's
increase.
for all electric, so just do a regular.
That's from the old rate prior to October 2021.
You feel like me, you got two girls at home that honestly, I'm gonna say 2,500 kilowatts. But I'm sure it's like that. That's about right. So my bill goes from 225.68 a month to 203. I have a
Will
question.
the meter rate change stay the same?
It went to $10. We lowered it from
You lowered it from 15
to
10.
10.
I have a question regarding Exhibit E, which y'all may not have that in front of you, but it shows the residential, out of the residential, commercial, large industrial, it only shows the residential change.
Yeah.
So are the other two just basically affected by,
The only thing that's changing on the other
I don't have it.
that's what, okay.
5.5
Yeah.
Fuel adjustment.
But the basic rate for industrial and commercial stayed the same. The fuel adjustment does change. Yeah.
Could you
I
say
do
it
believe
again?
we've got a good balance on all aspects. You know, the rate is made up of three components: a fixed charge, and your meter charge, and then your fuel adjustment. And we've worked real hard to try to balance those components so the cost goes down. We don't overcharge by having our fixed part of the formula too high. So,
Bill, of the rate that we approved a year ago, or a little over a year ago, is this lower or higher than what that rate's supposed to be?
actually, for most of the year, it ran higher. In other words, the October 2021 rate increase ran higher than what it was supposed to for the biggest part of the year. It wasn't tracking like it should have.
Bill, could you take just a minute and explain fuel adjustment based on a 6-month rolling average compared to a 1-month rolling average, and how Angie would feel that difference on a month-to-month basis? Explain
Okay.
why we did that on 6 month, the history
Okay.
of that.
So with a 1-month rolling average, which is what was changed to in October 2021, if you get a high cost of fuel, all of that falls to your bill in that month. So with a 6-month rolling average, which is what we've had all in the years past, that is averaged out over 6 months. So you take a little bite of it at a time. If you think about it, typically fuel prices increase like in the winter for heating and so forth. Well, to me, that's the time that you can least afford a big spike in your bill. So the 6-month rolling average, I believe, is the right thing to do, and to keep it and keep those spikes out of your bill.
So basically, the way I understood it and the way I try to describe it is, on those months where the ebbs and flows like this, somebody's carrying that extra weight. And way back when, and it's been that way for the utility for as long as I've been alive, they chose to let the utility carry that extra charge and spread it out over that 6-month period. But in the end, we end up paying for it anyways, but it just in a levelized approach, not kind of like levelized billing. So when we changed it to back to 1 month, that caused those bills to go through the roof, which is where someone who's on 800 a month fixed income was paying their entire check to pay that light bill. And I'm glad that y'all decided to do that. I promise you, that's probably the best thing you could have ever done.
It's an
Get back to
important
that.
part of it. Yeah.
So, I think there was a lot of pain caused by that, and I'm glad you reset it. Questions?
We vote on the ordinance?
Well, we could, just gonna ask any other questions for the group? Because they have worked really, really hard, and they're very, very professional. Scott, I don't know how to articulate. Glad you were involved with this. You and Bill are just crazy good. Opened my eyes to so many different things.
Main man.
Well, that's a good crew right there. Thank y'all very much. We have a motion to suspend the rules and place it on its second reading.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barber.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Ms. Barber, would you read by title?
An ordinance revising rates to be charged by the Clarksville Connected Utilities for electric service, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Have a motion to suspend the rules, or is there any other comments, questions? Motion to suspend the rules, place on its third reading,
So moved.
second,
Second.
Ms. Barber?
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley.
Yes.
Ms. Barber, would you read by title?
An ordinance revising rates to be charged by Clarksville Connected Utilities for electric service, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Have a motion to adopt the ordinance,
So moved.
second,
Second.
Ms. Barber?
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens.
Yes.
Ms. Barber, there is no emergency clause, but do we need to?
If you want it to go into effect immediately, but if it's not going till July,
It'd be
you'll have 30 days.
Yeah, okay. All right, council, thank you. And to that group that worked so hard on this, thank you all very much. Very much.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very
Roger, Bill.
And for the last time, Ms. Barber, would you please read this ordinance? Are you recorded? Okay. I'm not bringing this back to you, I promise. It's expected to run. It's Stanley's fault. And Chad. And Greg. That works for him. He's part of it too, right there.
To read it.
No, I'm sorry.
Be it enacted by the City Council of Clarksville, State of Arkansas, an ordinance regarding excavations and alterations to city streets, roadways, sidewalk, curbs, and alleys, revoking ordinance 94, 256, 908, and 912, and for other purposes, whereas the Clarksville City Council is desirous of providing a clear and concise policy pertaining to excavations and alterations to city streets, roadways, sidewalks, curbs, and alleys. Whereas street improvement and maintenance are a costly proposition, and coordination between all parties is required to keep cost at a minimum to all. Whereas the Clarksville City Council desires to revoke ordinance number 94, 256, 908, and 912. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Clarksville, Arkansas, that Section 1 excavations permit from and after the passage of this ordinance, any person, firm, or corporation, or anyone wishing to bore, excavate under, or into, or cut into the surface of any street, roadway, sidewalk, curb, or alley in the City of Clarksville, Arkansas, shall furnish to the City of Clarksville the location where the opening is to be made, the nature, extent, and purpose of said opening, and shall pay to the City of Clarksville a fee in the amount of $50 for a permit allowing excavations or alterations which permit shall be considered by the City of Clarksville with the approval of the Street Superintendent of the City of Clarksville, Arkansas, upon the posting of a bond as hereinafter provided. Section 2, fees. The City of Clarksville and Clarksville Connected Utilities have established the following fee schedule pertaining to excavations and/or repairs. Street repair, $250, water and sewer both. Sidewalk repair, $50, water and sewer both. Sewer service point repair in the street, $150, sewer only. New tap, $300. Replacing unpaid tap, $150. Replacing paid tap, no charge. Commercial industrial, actual cost of material, labor, and equipment, $300, whichever is greater. Section 3, applications for permit deposit. Anyone desiring to make an alteration or excavation to any street, roadway, sidewalk, curb, or alley in the City of Clarksville, Arkansas shall make a written application for and secure a permit via the City of Clarksville's permit software website, pay the permit fee by check or money order, and a deposit in the amount of $500 or the actual estimated cost of repair, whichever is greater, to be used as necessary by the city in repairing and restoring the roadway to its former condition before any alteration or excavation can be made. After repair of street, roadway, sidewalk, alley, and/or curb has been completed and inspected, any excess of such bond remaining shall be refunded. Cost of such repairs shall be calculated according to schedule approved by the City Council. Section 4, municipal exception. The City of Clarksville, Clarksville Connected Utilities, or any contractors working on their behalf will be required to secure a permit before opening any street, roadway, sidewalk, curb, or alley. However, they will not be required to pay the permit fee or post a bond in those instances where such opening is necessary for repairs or improvements to the public utility system. Clarksville Connected Utilities must have an approved permit from the city of Clarksville prior to any non-emergency opening. In emergency situations that necessitate Clarksville Connected Utilities to bore, excavate under or into or cut into the surface of any street, roadway, sidewalk, curb, or alley, Clarksville Connected Utilities shall comply with the permit requirements set forth in Section 4 below. Clarksville Connected Utilities may excavate or alter any street, roadway, sidewalk, curb, or alley to perform utility work on behalf of the customer or property owner only after the customer or property owner has obtained permit and posted the bond as required herein. Under no circumstances shall a permit be issued in the name of Clarksville Connected Utilities for the alteration or excavation of a street, roadway, sidewalk, curb, or alley performed for the benefit of a private contractor, customer, or property owner. Section 5, definitions. Emergency shall be defined as a utility repair that is necessary for public safety and/or system safety that occurs after normal operating hours of the city of Clarksville or during normal hours as the situation dictates. A permit is required for an emergency alteration or excavation of city streets, roadways, sidewalks, alleys, and curbs, and a permit shall be obtained from the city of Clarksville within 24 hours after Clarksville City Hall opens to the public. Following such emergency excavation or alteration, the permit shall describe in detail the nature of the emergency and the reasons for the alteration or excavation to the street, roadway, sidewalk, alley, or curb on an emergency basis. Section 6, prohibited actions. No person, firm, or corporation shall bore, excavate under, or into, or otherwise alter any street, roadway, sidewalk, curb, or alley within the city limits of Clarksville, Arkansas for any purpose whatsoever, without first obtaining an official permit from the city of Clarksville as set forth herein. Section 7, penalty. Violation of this ordinance is declared to be a violation of any person, firm, or corporation who is found guilty of a violation hereof shall be fined not more than $100 each day during which a violation continues, shall constitute a separate offense and be subject to the fine set forth herein for each and every separate offense. Section 8, severability provision. If any part of this ordinance is held invalid, the remainder of this ordinance shall continue in effect as if such invalid portion never existed. Section 9, repeal of conflicting provisions. All ordinances, resolutions, or orders of the city council or parts of the same in conflict with this ordinance are repealed to the extent of such conflict. Specifically, City of Clarksville Ordinance Number 94, 256, 908, and 912 is hereby revoked. Section 10, emergency clause. This ordinance being necessary for the effective operation of the city of Clarksville, Arkansas, and to ensure the streets, roadways, alleys, sidewalks, and attached curbs are timely repaired and safe for the citizens of Clarksville, and to also ensure the fiscal stability of the Clarksville Street Department, emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage.
Thank you. Ms. Barber, thank you. Thank you. Well, all right, so this is the fun part for me. I get to call it the victimized. The two culprits responsible for this, Chad, Stanley, come on. The council wants to know what this is about.
I already know what it's about. I didn't have a problem with it.
Stanley Street Department. The reason this one, I don't think Chad had anything to do with this one. It's actually because if you take the deposit with a credit card or whatever, you're actually paying 2 fees to take it and to reimburse it. So it's actually costing us money. That's the reason for the check or money order. The other, it didn't state that, it only stated $500 bond. And they, that's not covering if they tear a whole block up. They could just give us $500 and move on the way it was written. And, we could have multiple $20,000, $55,000. I mean, who knows what the cost would be to repair it. So this actually covers that in case they tear up more than what the $500 would cover. And I think that's good this time. I don't think Chad had anything to do with this one.
Nope. I like calling up there.
But I think this covers it.
All right.
Thank you.
And I think, Deidre, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that's what we put, or the actual estimated cost of repair is Jefferson Granger. That's the right language. Okay. Do we have a motion to suspend rules and place it on its second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Barber?
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Be it enacted by the City Council of Clarksville, State of Arkansas, an ordinance regarding excavations and alterations to city streets, roadways, sidewalks, curbs, and alleys, revoking ordinance 94, 256, 908, and 912, and for other purposes.
We have a motion to suspend and place it on its third reading.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barbara.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger.
Yes. Ms. Barbara.
Be it enacted by the City Council of Clarksville, State of Arkansas, an ordinance regarding excavations and alterations to city streets, roadways, sidewalks, curbs, and alleys, revoking ordinance 94, 256, 908, and 912, and for other purposes.
Entertain a motion to adopt the ordinance.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barbara.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Entertain a motion to find that emergency exists.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barbara.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Okay, Ms. Barbara, 6E, no, 6D is, one more time, I
An
promise.
ordinance to waive the competitive bidding requirements for the purpose of a must-go light structure system for the Clarksville Soccer Complex in the city of Clarksville. Whereas the City Council of the City of Clarksville, Arkansas desires to purchase a must-go light structure system for the Clarksville Soccer Complex in Clarksville, Arkansas. Whereas the requirements of competitive bidding are neither practical nor feasible, and whereas the city is authorized and empowered under the provisions of Arkansas Code Section 1458 303B1B and 1458 104 to waive competitive bidding requirements in situations where such process is not practical or feasible. And now therefore be ordained by the City Council of the City of Clarksville, Arkansas, Section 1, the city hereby finds that competitive bidding is neither feasible nor practical in the current circumstances of the purchase of the above referenced light structure system. Section 2, under the authority of Arkansas Code annotated Section 1458 303B1B and 1458 104, the city does hereby waive competitive bidding requirements in connection with the purchase of a light structure system. Section 3, the city hereby approves the expenditure not to exceed $26,222,000 from the Series 2021 Sales and Use Tax Capital Improvement and Refund Bonds payable to Moscow Sparks Sporting Lights LLC for the light structure system for the Clarksville Soccer Complex in the city of Clarksville. Section 4, all ordinances, resolutions, and parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to extent of such conflict. Emergency clause. This ordinance being necessary for the prompt purchase of lighting for the Clarksville Soccer Complex because competitive bidding is not feasible nor practical in this situation and for the public peace, health, and safety of the citizens of Clarksville. An emergency is hereby declared and this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage. I think that should be $26,222.
I was gonna say.
Well, they have 4 zeros
We're
there.
gonna delete the last 2 zeros.
Yeah.
There's no commas in there.
Yeah.
And so if you notice the difference between it and
Yeah.
actual invoice, unlike the first time when we did the lights for soccer field, we didn't include the taxes and neither did they. So we got it right this time, other than have 2 extra zeros in there, which we'll take out.
Now,
So
now we're not gonna have to come back in 6 months and the FAA say we'd take these lights out.
No, sir.
You promise?
To the best of my knowledge. They are outside of the RPZ and the displaced area, lateral displacement.
And they are the dark sky lights, so they should be fine. And there's a new layout. I want to explain to the council, at one point when we were looking at this, what Morgan Barrett has done here, we thought we were gonna have to haul in, 30,000 yards of dirt?
Yep.
And Morgan has messed around with us, and every bit of the dirt we need is there. We didn't have to haul in anything. And we've worked with CCU, we got the transformer is fixing to be set, we got the power. So if you look in the left-hand side, you'll see a blue triangle that kind of goes through that ball field on the left. That currently is part of the lease that the city has with the National Guard Armory. I contacted the state military department. We're gonna redo the lease with them. It's renewing this year. And that triangle will not be part of it. It will convert back to the airport. So that gave us the ability to put that field in there. But the thing I want to highlight to you is Morgan, as our city engineer, messed around with this. I found a way to take the existing dirt, save us hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm getting proud of
approximately,
you, man.
it's approximately 300,000. But the real savings is what y'all approved last month was, or actually you did, I don't know if y'all approved that, but was a dozer rental and the street department or Stanley operating that dozer out there. If y'all go by there, you can see it's starting to take shape. The dirt work alone, we say in excess of 300,000. And the reason for the 2 additional poles is the original orientation had a common pole, 2 common poles between the 2 fields. And with this layout, you can see it does require 4 poles. So it's just the poles. We had already purchased the necessary fixtures for the fields. So this is what you have in front of you are just the poles, and we'll use the fixtures we already purchased on these new poles to allow for four poles on each field.
Waiving it because it's a unique, basically the dark skylights are what put it.
Yeah, and that we needed those poles because these fixtures fit on those Musco poles.
So that's the reason for the ordinance. But it's taking shape. If you haven't been out there, you definitely should go. I don't know if we'll ever get Stanley out of that bulldozer.
What's the projected date to finish this?
Stanley, when are we gonna have this?
I got the dozer for a month, so we should have most of the fields all pretty much graded out and everything.
I talked to Tri-County Blood and then this week, just in case their season starts up in August. So if this isn't done, at least one of the fields aren't done. We'll use the softball field. I'm gonna talk to the county about using the big city field. And then maybe some of the Marvin Vincent for some of the indoor stuff. So we have a backup plan in case it doesn't.
We pretty much have one of the fields almost ready to go.
That first big field, right? One just to the right of the concession stand, about done.
Yes, it'd be the west U18 field. The biggest challenge out here, without it being sprinkled, is the grass. Getting the grass to grow and maintaining it. It's going to be tough for the Parks Department to keep it watered without a sprinkler system. But my understanding is they're going to try to get that done and seed everything that we can and just try to get it to grow the best we can.
The idea is to sod the western field, seed everything else. Chief might get, if you need a sock of water out in fire trucks, we might pull some fire trucks out there and help saturate this ground at some point. Rent and agricultural, and just put it on it for a week or two, just to get it to take hold.
So,
Especially if we saw that first bill.
so the question I have for the emergency clause, you know, how I am about them, is because we already purchased the lighting, that they fit specifically these poles that were, okay.
And then we need to go and get them purchased and get them on.
I don't know what, I can't remember what the lead time is, but we have taken delivery of the other poles. Stanley is probably should be done with that second field this week. And then they'll go back and do finish grading on both of them. And before the sod and everything else is probably need to get the underground work done. So part of the underground work is these 2 poles because we have to set the concrete bases, and it's a steel slip fit on top of the concrete base.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Julie, I'm gonna direct you to that picture just for a minute. You see that blue line that's running east to west? You see that? That will be going a long way to meet our ADA compliance. The uneven turf and what we saw has been going on, that's gonna be a thing of the past. So regardless of your building, you'll be able to get to these fields with ease, so.
Are y'all gonna pave it?
Some
Part
of it,
expensive?
yeah. Some of it, this right here will probably gravel at first until we get it completely compacted. And then, of course, this will stay paved over here. Biggest is, the biggest challenge is gonna be fencing it. You have to control it. It's a lot of fencing, so. And then you potentially, well, what do we say, Morgan? It's 40 feet from the edge of the field to the fence here on the airport, so there's a chance that they could kick balls over into this. We gotta put the gate so they can go through and go get the ball. There's some challenges, but I'll tell you what, it sure is looking good. It's amazing when it gets all grown in, and it's gonna be unbelievable. Any other questions? Entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place it on its second reading.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barber.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley.
Yes.
An ordinance to waive the competitive bidding requirements for the purchase of Musco light structure system for the Clarksville soccer complex in the city of Clarksville.
Entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place it on its third reading.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barber.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens.
Yes.
Ms. Barber.
An ordinance to waive the competitive bidding requirements for the purchase of a Musco light structure system for the Clarksville soccer complex in the city of Clarksville.
Entertain a motion to adopt the ordinance.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barber.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Would entertain a motion to approve the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barber.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Morgan, thank you. 6E, planning and zoning. Mr. Swagler's here. You've got the, should have the letter from Katie Howard in there. Yeah. So he would be replacing Mr. Weathers, correct?
Yes.
She had a thumbs up, so I guess that.
I couldn't see you around. It's in the letter, sorry.
I make a motion, we approve the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to appoint Mr. Bob Swiper.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barber.
Baker,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Council. 6F is recommendations from the Real Property Committee. Ms. Susan, you weren't there, were you?
Right.
So basically, what this Mr. Dorning wants to be able to build a fence, and we, on the corner of this property, we have Blue Creek drainage that goes under it. And part, I have to look, but we have no objection to it, other than if we need to get in and figure
Access.
that, then we're not responsible for the damages. And I've talked to Deidre a little bit about it. Is that language that we can write in some kind of resolution, or how would we do that?
Probably do a resolution that it's funded the council reference, just a short contract with Mr. Dorn. He's agreeable to make the repairs. If he builds a fence on it, then we can go in there and do some work, and that requires taking part of his fence down. We're not responsible for the expense to put it back up, but he's going to be responsible for it.
The council's okay with that idea? Would entertain a motion to approve me to write that contract and bring it back to you next month.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Barber.
Bradley,
Yes.
Edens,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Reisinger,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Roger? CCU?
Roger Brooks, General Manager, CCU.
Sure.
Well, I thank y'all for the appointment and everything, but Bethany's gonna give her reports again this month.
Oh, no.
A little more prepared than last.
I'm Bethany Bean from CCU. I think y'all have the full packet or the full thing in there, so I'll just kind of give a highlight. Support and PCF are continuing with routine maintenance and have lots of mowing this time of the year. The electric just completed the underground upgrade at Willett Branch. The Marvin Vincent Water Sewer completed moving the 8-inch water line. They also had one employee pass the distribution 2 water exam. Water treatment, the annual report has been completed and posted as required by the ADH. Broadband had 55 installs completed, 22 drops, and sold 28 of the PBX phones for the month of May. teamwork on that. And then we also have several quotes out. And then the downtown office is reviewing applications for a full-time CSR position. Roy Young and I worked on the BDO grant. We got it transferred over to us to be the overseers. We've been working with Stephen Hauserman on that, which he probably has more to add right now about that than we do. So everything else is just going along as normal.
Stephen, top that.
I'll keep mine short. You have my report. There's a few items. Yep.
I just wanted to ask one question for CCU. I noticed that financials were included in our report.
Right.
Could we get the financials for May?
Yeah, we got February.
We have April,
We got February.
we have February and March. Do we have April and May? What?
They usually run a month behind like that, that way we got all of our fuel, or power costs and all that in there.
Is April and May? No. Yes, too far behind. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Just wondering. Thank you.
So you're still there, trying to just get reset after the audit.
Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Thank you, sir. Steve Hausman, Economic Development with the city. Really owe Bethany a big thank you on helping with BDO grant stuff. That was getting to be a little over my head, and she got in there and figured it out with the USDA rep and got it all sorted out. So great news with that. We, CCU initiated this, I believe, over a year ago, and have done the legwork of identifying some of the biodiverse materials here in the region, not just Clarksville. And because of that study, this has kind of put us on the map. So what's going to happen is on Wednesday, EcoStrat's going to publish a press release, and we'll make sure we get that out to the press around the state and the country with an AA rating. What does that mean? I know when this process initially kind of wrapped up, they gave us an A rating, which is one step below, but since reevaluation, they've upped us to a AA rating, meaning we are the lowest risk for this BDO initiative. And what that means is it factors biomass material like chicken litter and supply chain and infrastructure for our area. And it basically says that Clarksville and the greater River Valley area is high potential for business development in this new bioeconomy that's being created. So when we talk about burning, getting away from burning traditional fuel sources and getting into more green energy type production, this plays into that strength. So we're looking forward to that and seeing, the marketing of that, supporting some of the other green energy projects we have going on in the area. Secondly, if you flip your page on my report, you'll see a logo for the entertainment district. I know that's been asked of me a couple times. We worked on it. We went through 3 or 4 different iterations, and then with some local business feedback and many of our staff picking through and seeing what they like, this is what we came up with. Still in final draft form. We may make one small adjustment to it that was articulated to me this morning, and hopefully get you a final project or product here in the next couple weeks. Hopefully sooner than that. And lastly, you'll see on the back of the packet there is the press release that will be going out on Wednesday. A couple small tweaks. I'm waiting on getting a quote from one other person, and then that'll be going live.
Steve, I think before you go, I think you should poll the council and ask them which of these 4
Sure.
designs they like.
Can do that. So what you have in front of you,
Just to give us some direction on where to go.
I put them on some different backgrounds and things. The color green is changed on each picture, and I also use the different text. The only one that's significantly different is going to be the one superimposed on a shop window. Obviously, that's white to reflect the contrast of the window and the lettering.
So you're taking out the green?
The green.
Changing the green, or are you keeping the green?
So we
Yeah.
got into the issue of, for marking around the exterior, blues for police, reds for fire, yellow and white for state highways.
Yeah.
So when you get into the colors, you gotta be something unique. So green was what we landed on.
Okay. I wasn't being recorded, but-
So
Looked at it, my optical went CBD.
that's what I've heard. Now, hey, when I started this, I actually used the traditional city colors with a different logo, and we wanted to go in a different direction. We tried red, but because of, we're going to be drawing lines and things for this entertainment district to demarket. We want to keep away from using any emergency service colors or anything like that. So I'm open to suggestion. She sure did. That's why we're back at the drawing board. But this is generally what we'll go with, and I'll rework it. Now, caveat to that, I actually had a conversation with Representative Pilkington last week. He called me out of the blue and said, "Hey, I've got an idea for a grant. There is a streetscape art grant out there." And we were scratching our head, how can we employ this? Maybe it's something for the stage. What we identified is that since we have to stripe, the entertainment district or market in some sense, why not create that into some type of artistic expression, rather than just being a green line traveling down Cherry Street or something. So he's helping us apply for that grant. I think he's going to submit it tonight once he gets back to his office, and hopefully we can secure that and pay for that element.
I think it'd be nice to have a design that people would enjoy taking a picture in front of, you see the
Yeah.
one that has the wings.
Interactive art. Yeah.
Interactive art, yeah.
All about it. Yeah. And this could be something we can actually approach the community with, maybe our high school, see if students have any ideas on what that looked like. A few concepts we had since it was green was maybe doing a vine or something. So, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And lastly, I just want to ask everybody to welcome Cody Williamson. He's going to be our summer intern for economic development. He's also a new daddy, and he is taking time away from his new duties to be here with us and learn about the world of economic development, community development. So we really appreciate you being here, buddy. Yep. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Steve.
Ray or, okay. Chamber? I saw that.
Hello, everyone. I'm Abby Asensio. I'm with the Chamber of Commerce. For all the stuff that we're working on program and event-wise, you guys have my report, but I wanted to touch on some staffing changes and adjustments that we have going on. So everyone pretty much saw that we had an executive director position that was open. We got rid of that title, not the position. We kind of split the position. So the vice president role is the role that I've taken on, still covering day-to-day things that the executive director did. But we also hired on a part-time contracted consultant, Ray Hobbs, and he's going to be helping us, acting as my mentor, but also helping us at the chamber with like those big picture items and helping us gain more revenue, and then just work on different things like that with us. Any questions?
Just want to thank you for all your help downtown.
Yes.
The walk audit we did, the concert series, that partnership has been so good, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Chief Weaver?
Fire Chief Weaver. Just going to let you guys know, you've got my report for our runs, but on top of that, just wanted to point out that currently our guys are involved in a 16-hour extrication class. So on top of home lives, full-time jobs, normal call-outs, they're also dedicating an additional 16 hours to furthering their education. Thanks.
Stanley, Chad, or just, sorry, I'm so used to it, Chad.
Stanley Edgewood Street Department. We have been replacing multiple sections of culverts all over town. I think we've replaced probably 400 feet of metal pipe that is eroded, less than 10 years old, that is completely gone. With the help of CCU and their crane, we set box culverts on Country Club Road, widened it by 2 feet, and have it paved. We have paved McConnell this month. We've done a lot. I mean, you have my report. There's multiple things we've done, but we really appreciate the help with CCU. It saved a lot of us doing the culverts ourselves, and with their crane, it really made it possible. Wouldn't have been without them.
Well, then another shout out to Chad then for that work they've done in EPD, moving that fire hydrant louder going. Stanley's been out working on running a bulldozer on that ball field. The collaborative effort that you see to make the city go is incredible. How they work together is absolutely incredible.
I'll send you a bill.
Put it on my account. Jackie?
Jacqueline, Parks Director. Sorry I wasn't here last month, had a family emergency, so my report's kind of long. I'm not going to go over all of it, but I'm just going to hit some high points of things that we have going on in parks. Our sand volleyball league starts this Thursday, so we are still taking registrations through Wednesday. It starts Thursday. We'll take registrations until Wednesday. That league will run until August 10th, so it'll be all summer long. You guys get your teams together and come register at the Marvin. We'd love to have you. The summer concert series has taken off, and we have a concert every single weekend until August 19th, except for the weekend of the Peach Festival, because they'll have the entertainment going on there too. And then the weekend of the triathlon, we don't have anything, but every single weekend until August 19th, there should be something going on downtown. So don't miss it. We have a lot of good stuff happening. With that, again, triathlons August 12th, and then our kids camps have started. I started 4 high school interns. They're doing a great job. My 4 interns for the university, they're working well together. Camps have been great. We have a ton of kids, but there's spots open for the 3 remaining camps. We have spots for every camp. So if you have any kids, grandkids from ages 7 to 11, send them our way. We'd love to have them. We're having lots of fun. Next week, we have a camp. There's a 2-week break, and then after the week of July 4th, we'll have 2 more weeks worth of camp. So sign up. We have lots of stuff going on. If you have people complaining that there's things to do, it's because they're not looking in the right places. So we got lots of stuff happening. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Hearing good things about the north side of the lake trails, and they're a bit much for me, probably. I haven't really been on the big one and all that. But are you able to track how many people are using it, or you got any idea?
We
what
don't
we
have
got going there?
No, we don't have a system in place. We've had other suggestions about putting a logbook up there. I think some of our auxiliary police department has talked about putting a logbook where people sign in at the top of the trail, saying what trail they rode, what day they came by, that sort of thing. But as of right now, we don't have a system in place for tracking that.
Might be something too, to do some kind of social media incentive for people to check in.
Yeah, like a hashtag or something. Yeah.
And then at least you can have some kind of digital footprint.
Right.
They have to be willing to do it, but maybe, I don't know how we incentivize it, but I was just curious about how that project is going.
Yeah, like I said, as of right now, we don't have anything in place, but those are good suggestions, and I can work with Steven. He's pretty good at coming up with advertisement and stuff like that, so we can work on something.
Are they finished
Yeah.
with it up there?
Any other
That
questions?
that was one of my questions. I was curious about if there was going to be any signs or anything put up. I know I went out there and I didn't see anything yet as of a couple weeks ago, but.
Yeah, I sent the council an email, kind of update on where we were with the contract. Did you all get that?
Yes.
So that nothing has changed. We're waiting on a response back to Deidre. And once that is concluded and the legal folks have weighed in, then we can officially take over that project and become our project. But until they have made a decision on how that's actually going to play out, it's not ours. Because if we accept it, we accept it as is, and there's no bridge on the ECM yet. So it's not technically a functioning park of the city until I can bring you a product that says it's complete and you guys accept it, and the bridges are built and everything else is done.
Anything else? Thank you.
You forgot something. You forgot something. Very, very important. We've had a death in the family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh,
We've had
well, I really didn't want to share that sad news.
So of all the engineering and all of the work and effort we went to save that tree in that Kluge playground, it died. And it died because of beetles. So, CC, or Roger graciously volunteered to get his chainsaw on his chaps and come cut it down for us.
I want to say we appreciate the collaboration and the partnership and the help for all of our departments. It's helped us out a lot.
So what would the council think about if we found a wood carver to save the trunk, because it's huge, and made some kind of design out of a wood carving out of the trunk of that tree? What do you think about that? Yeah.
Get a grant for it.
Speaking of grants, that $200,000 grant that I applied for, that's not a matching grant, we've been approved to apply for the second part of the grant. So it was really good news when I opened my email and said, congrats, you've been approved to do the next step. So it's due by July 15th, but I'm still working on that. But we're one step closer to a pretty awesome grant. So it's exciting too. So
And I also reached out to engineering firm, HCW. They are working on a rendering to present to you for decision and grant opportunity, creating a Veterans Memorial Park in the location of the old bus barn. So the idea is you'd have rocks that stagger down to a reflecting pool, the water being pumped up top and cascading over the top. Up top, you'd have a flagpole with a memorial section, and then the wall would be bricks with Johnson County veterans' names on them, all the way down through there. So that would give us our first Veterans Memorial Park. I think a really, really cool idea. Talked to Aaron Spokatin about getting us some grant money. So we're trying to put all that together and put a case before you so you can help us make a decision on what to do with that old bus barn area. So.
thank you. Yeah.
You embarrassed her. You embarrassed her.
I'm Patty Holman with the Aquatics in the MPB Center. The outdoor pool is open and running. We had several issues where they're still being worked on, but we were able to get it up and open. We have experienced some lightning and accidents in the pool where we have no control over. Lightning, it's all for safety. We have to have, if there's lightning within 10 miles of the area, we have to close down for at least 30 minutes till it's gone. A lot of times, like, I don't remember what day it was, Thursday or Friday, it didn't look like anything in the sky, but the lightning was in there. So people don't see that, but it's all for safety. The accidents in the pool, we have no control over when things happen like that. We provide the swim diapers and things like that for the littles, but it just happens. Again, that has to be closed down. We close it for at least 2 hours. We have to raise up chemicals to a high point to kill any bacteria. Then it has to come back down to a safe level for people to get into the water. So it's hard to explain and people get very angry, and I apologize, but we have no control over that. I do want to thank the people that stick up for us. I do appreciate that. We've been doing some interviews for the maintenance position. Hopefully we'll get that filled this week. A lot of people helped us get the pool up and running, but I have two specific heroes that I just want to call out, and that's Matt Kramer, because we wouldn't have got it open without him, and David Blackwell with ASI. We had so many gremlins and little, things happening in our computer systems that we wouldn't have gotten it. We wouldn't have had the registers or any of the opening things for that. So I just want to call them out because they were very helpful to get this pool open. We're still busy. The summer crew is doing really good. Haven't had a whole lot of issues with them. We've got a good crew, and the rentals on the MPB is still taking place. The Camp Take a Hike, they're doing well out there. Pickleball, everything's all going crazy. Do you have any questions?
Are we still dealing with the hole in the lake in the wall?
Yes, we are. We've got people contacted on that, and we've sent pictures and everything, and they're determining how to determine how to fix that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Britt?
I don't have anything.
You gotta come up here and say that first.
Brett Yount, head of the garage. I don't have anything to report.
What about,
Hey.
can I ask you about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great job on fixing whatever you did for the parks.
So instead of buying $31,000 piece of
Oh.
equipment, Brett,
Duh.
manufacturers are only cash.
Yes, I do.
15 of it, roughly, give or take.
$150.
$150.
Yep.
So when I say he's a true living MacGyver, he really is. It's incredible. Thank you, Brett. That's the reason I called you up there. Plus that, I want everybody seeing the TV. AEP?
You forgot Chris.
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Chris, I'm sorry.
I'm next, Tom.
Chris Case, Recycle. My May report, 40 loads went to Green Source, and the tonnage on that was 10.5 tons of cardboard, 4.2 tons of paper, 5.5 tons of glass, 4.9 tons of commingle, and 1.8 tons of e-waste. Any questions? Thank you.
Place always looks good, Chris.
Yeah,
I don't know how to keep up with it.
I don't either.
Honestly, I don't.
Parks help a lot too, and we can now, we got a schedule on that, really help.
AEP? Ms. Barber?
You have my treasurer's report if you have any questions.
So just update you real quick, because the community projects wasn't on there, that the position for animal control is out in the graphic this week, I think. Janice, if I'm right, we should have the announcement for the animal control, the bids for the repurposing of that building, and then the bids for the bathrooms downtown are all in the graphic this week. The issue with staying over at the current animal control facility is we have to install a tank and then a place, a way to wash, when we're washing only. Rod, you correct me, Roy, correct me, we have to wash that because we're washing the surface into a tank and then we'll pump that out and it cannot go into the sewer, correct? Yeah, okay. So because of that, it's a little extra cost, but it's, hopefully in 6 months we'll have the other building ready, which is gonna be amazing if we do it right, so. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And we have the MPB bids, multi-purpose building bids coming out on the 29th. So you got the 28th, and there's two bids coming out on the 28th, and then the one on the 29th. Right with that?
That's correct.
What else am I missing? So if you know somebody that loves animals, wants to do animal control, please send them our way. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Congratulations.